you know what scared me the most when I first got to the United States? It was not the English. I mean, the English was bad, yeah, but it was not the English. It was not the job. I figured out the job. Somebody always needs somebody to bus tables, or wash dishes, or do something, right? No. The thing that scared me the most was walking into a Chase branch on a Tuesday afternoon, standing in that little roped-off line, getting to the front, and having the person behind the counter look at me like I had just asked to borrow their car. Because I did not have a credit score. Not a bad credit score, not a low credit score, no credit score. Like the system looked at me and said, "Who is this person? We have never heard of them." And that is a weird feeling. Because you exist, you are standing right there. You have a job, you pay rent, you buy groceries. But as far as the American financial system is concerned, you are invisible. And here is the thing that really got me. 26 million people in this country are credit invisible. That is a CFPB number from a 2015 report, 26 million. Another 19 million have a file but no score because the history is too thin. So you are looking at 45 million adults in this country who basically do not exist to a credit card company. And a huge chunk of those people, immigrants, people who showed up, started working, started paying bills, and got nothing for it. I was one of those people. I did not know any of this until I started looking into it about a year ago. And once I figured it out, I thought, okay, I need to walk through this step by step. Because nobody walked me through it, and it would have saved me so much time. So here are 7 steps, that is it. 7. And the first one is the one that most people get confused by, so let me start there. Step 1. You need a number. Either an SSN, a social security number, or an ITIN, an individual taxpayer identification number. If you have an SSN because of your visa type, great, you are already ahead. But if you do not have one, you are not stuck. You go to irs.gov. You fill out form W-7, that is it, W-7. You mail it in with your tax return and your identity documents. Now, I want to say something here because this is where people lose money. There are people out there, I have seen the ads, you have probably seen the ads, charging $200, $300, $500 to help you get your ITIN. And look, some of them are legit certified acceptance agents. And if you really need help with the paperwork, that is your call. But the IRS does not charge you to get an ITIN. The form is free. The application is free. The IRS says it takes about 7 weeks to process, or 9 to 11 weeks, during tax season. In 2023, the IRS issued nearly 900,000 ITINs, according to a 2024 IS Taxpayer Advocate report. So this is not some rare obscure thing. Almost 1 million people a year do this. Okay, step 2. This is the big one. You get a secured credit card. And let me explain what this is, because I did not know what this was. A secured credit card is a credit card where you give them money first. You put down a deposit, and that deposit becomes your credit limit. So if you put down $200, you can spend up to $200. That is it. Capital One has one called the Platinum Secured. Depending on where you are credit-wise, which, if you are watching this, is probably nowhere. And I say that with love, the minimum deposit is $49.99. Or $200 for a credit line of at least $200. Discover has a secured card to $200 minimum deposit. Both of them accept ITINs, and here is the part that matters. Capital One reports your activity to all 3 credit bureaus. Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, all 3. That means every time you use your card and pay it off, all 3 bureaus see it. I should mention, none of this is personal financial advice. I have no idea what your tax situation looks like or what kind of visa you are on. This is just what I found when I started reading about it. But the numbers are worth going through, so let me keep going. They lean back in the chair. They are actually starting to understand this. Step 3. Become an authorized user on somebody else's credit card. This sounds weird, I know. But if you have a friend, a family member, a roommate, somebody with a credit card in good standing, they can add you as an authorized user. You do not even have to use the card. You do not even have to touch the card. Their payment history starts showing up on your credit report, according to Experian. Now, this only works if the primary cardholder pays on time and keeps the balance low. If they are maxing out their card every month, that is going to hurt you, not help you. So pick someone responsible, and yes, I know, that is easier said than done. But if you have that person in your life, this is one of the fastest ways to get history on your report without doing anything. Step 4. This is the one that changed everything for me. It is called Experian Boost. And it is free, completely free. You go to Experian's website, you link your bank account, and it looks through your payment history for things like rent, utilities, phone bills, even streaming services. If you have been paying those on time, it adds them to your Experian credit file. And the average increase, 13 points, instantly. That is from Experian's own website. 13 points does not sound like a lot until you realize that the difference between a 637 and a 650 is the difference between getting approved and getting denied. And for people who are credit invisible, people who have rent payments and utility payments but zero credit history, a 2021 TransUnion analysis found that adding rent payments to a credit report is associated with an average score growth of nearly 60 points. Nearly 60 points. And only 13% of consumers had their rent payments reported to credit bureaus in 2025, according to CNBC, 13%. That means 87% of renters in this country are paying on time every month and getting absolutely no credit for it. And for new immigrants, the number is even lower. The tool only has an English interface. It has never been marketed to non-English speaking communities. So the people who need it most are the people who know about it least. That one still gets me. Step 5. Credit Builder Loan. This is different from a regular loan. You do not get the money up front. The lender puts the money, usually $300 to $1,000, into a locked savings account. You make monthly payments. Those payments get reported to the credit bureaus. When you finish paying, you get the money. It is basically a forced savings plan that also builds your credit history. As described in a December 2024 Federal Reserve Fed's Notes Analysis, the CFPB did a study on this in 2020. For people with no existing debt, which if you just got here and you are starting from zero, that is probably you. A credit builder loan was associated with a credit score increase of 60 points, more than people who already had debt, and it increased their likelihood of having a credit score at all by 24%. And on top of that, participants ended up with an average of $253 more in savings, so you build credit and you save money at the same time. Your American roommate tells you just get a credit card, like it is that simple. Like saying, just learn English. They do not realize you cannot even get the application form, because you do not have the number the application form asks for. But a credit builder loan does not need a high credit score. Some credit unions will work with you, even if you have no score at all. The median origination amount for credit building products, according to that same Federal Reserve analysis, is $500. The median monthly payment is $26. $26 a month to start existing in the financial system. They put the phone down for a second. They are doing the math in their head. Step 6, 6 months in, maybe 7 or 8. You have been using your secured card. You have been making payments on your credit builder loan. You have Experian Boost running. And now you can apply for your first unsecured credit card, no deposit, a real card. The timeline on this is usually 6 to 18 months from when you got your first secured card. Capital One actually has a pathway where your secured card can graduate to an unsecured card automatically, meaning they give you your deposit back as a statement credit, and your card just becomes a regular card. You do not have to apply for anything new, it just upgrades. I keep wondering why nobody explains this in the orientation materials. Like, you get a pamphlet about where the nearest DMV is, but nobody sits you down and says, hey, here is how money actually works in this country. Step 7, 12 months from your first secured card, maybe a little more. You check your FICO score. And if you have been doing the things, paying on time, keeping utilization low, letting the accounts age, you could be looking at somewhere around 650 or above. Multiple credit building timelines from lenders like Capital One and Credit One Bank suggest 6 to 12 months of responsible secured card use can bring an initial score into the fair to good range. The national average FICO score is 714. That is from FICO's Spring 2026 Credit Insights report. You are not going to be at 714 in 12 months. But 650 puts you in the game. 650 means you can apply for a real credit card. You can be considered for an apartment lease without a cosigner. You can get a car loan at a rate that does not make you want to cry. Let me put the whole thing together. Start with the ITIN, free, 7 to 11 weeks. Then the secured card, $49 to $200 deposit. Then authorized user, free, but you need to ask someone. Then Experian Boost, free, instant, potentially 13 points or more. Then Credit Builder, loan $26 a month, median payment. Builds credit and savings at the same time. Then at 6 months, your first unsecured card. Then at 12 months, 650. I think of it like this: when you come to this country, the financial system does not know your address. You are standing outside a building with no mailbox. Nobody can send you anything because you do not have an address. These 7 steps, each one is like installing a piece of that mailbox. The ITIN is the post, the secured card is the box, Experian Boost is the flag. And at 12 months, the mail starts coming. It is not a metaphor I love, because mail in this country is mostly junk anyway. But you know what I mean. The Federal Reserve says the credit building product sector stands at $845 million, 3 million accounts. That is from a December 2024 Fed's notes analysis. The median borrower age is 36. The median credit score of people using these products is 604. These are not wealthy people gaming the system. These are people, a lot of them under 40, a lot of them starting from nothing, using a $200 deposit and a $26 monthly payment to build something. And here is the number I want to leave you with. The number that hit me the hardest when I found it. In 2025, only 13% of renters had their rent payments reported to credit bureaus, according to CNBC, 13%. Americans pay an estimated $1.4 trillion in rent every year, according to CNBC Trillion, with a T, and only 20% of landlords choose to report it. So you are paying on time. And the system is designed so that it does not count. Unless you go out of your way to make it count. That is not a language problem. That is not an immigration problem. That is a design problem. They close the laptop, but they do not close the tab. I am not a financial advisor. I want to be really clear about that. This is just what I found when I started digging. Your situation might be completely different, but if any of this applies to you, here is what I would do tonight. I would go to irs.gov and look up Form W-7. I would look up the Capital One Platinum Secured Card or the Discover Secured Card and see if you qualify. and I would go to Experian.com and try Boost. Those 3 things take about 45 minutes total. And 45 minutes is not a lot when the alternative is being invisible. For another year. I wish someone had told me this 3 years ago, so now you know.